Let's see. Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is September 24th of 2020. It's almost 12 noon. I made a change. I have two monitors hooked up. I have my brand new monitor, which is 1980 by 1020 monitor. Then I have one of my old 1920 by 1080 monitors over here. And this is the screen over here that you're seeing. I'm using OBS. So this is the screen over here you're seeing. In front of me is OBS running. And if you watch some of my videos, you'll know that I'll hold something up or whatever to the camera. And I don't know if what you're seeing. I have to, if I want to know, I have to, click, and it pops up or whatever. So now how long will I continue doing this? I don't know. I don't see any downside except I've lost some more desk space, which I forgot to check. Let's see. I always do this before, and I see that you can see this. Okay. I always have to make sure I do this. So this is the output from the speakers, and it's going where it should go, to my speakers. And this is the input, and this is this microphone right here. Let's hope I don't disconnect the USB cord or whatever. As I've told you, I have a lot of problems with audio settings. I mean, they change on me. If I install something or do something, and I have to make sure I check on it. But this is correct. Let's see. By the way, there is an upgrade. 3 updates. Let's see what this is. Oops, this is over here on this monitor. But I can just drag it over here where you guys can see it. As you can see, I'm running I don't know what all this is, but I'll wait till later I'm sure it'd be safe to run, but I'm not going to take the chance. But I'll run this later. We have been ordering in food from Walgreens. In fact, I think at least 2 days in a row. We've done it 2 days in a row, maybe 3, because I pay whatever it is to, did I say Walgreens? I mean Walmart. I pay like Walmart Prime or whatever it is, so there's no charge for delivery. And all you have to order is a $35 minimum. And I don't think the very minimum would be like $60. But usually it's more than that. So it's really nice, especially since we don't have a car, and especially because of the virus situation or whatever. It's really nice to have the delivery because we'd ordered the day before yesterday. And then when we got the order in that day, then yesterday, I said, early in the morning, I wish we had some ice cream sandwiches, and maybe some Neapolitan ice, So the ex-wife went ahead and ordered, and the other 2 days we ordered 24 packs of Coke. She does the ordering, and I think she thinks that I drink all the Coke. I think my grown son drinks it, I think, as much as I do, but it's because I've been drinking Coke all my life. I think that everybody thinks that I'm drinking all these 24 packs of Coke. I do my share. I do my share. I don't like Coke when it gets hot, but I've got, well, I won't go into that some other time. I think I already did, but got a cooler thing that that Hillary gave me. Igloo, that's it. Stainless steel. And it's about yay high. Hang on a second, I'll get it. But I'm going to shut down the screen temporarily, the video capture. Don't touch the mouse. I'll be right back. I'm coming. Video capture. I'm back. This is the, no, Yeti, that's it, Yeti. Okay, no ice in it. Usually, I fill this up with ice and then I, put Coke into it. And that way, fill it with ice, and then if I don't drink all the, I'm done, but I just put the thing back, put it in the refrigerator, and then later in that day, or even the next day, I open it up. The ice is still there. It hasn't melted into the Coke. I can add some more Coke, and right now there isn't any ice in there. There's Coke in there. And this really works great. It's surprising. Another surprising thing is this Igloo, or Yeti, the Yeti thing. And it fits, I know Coke can, soda cans, but I think it would fit some other types of cans. But it's just, and it's aluminum and it has this insulating material. Put that in like that. Put the top on this. And this is kind of surprising because now there's no ice in this. But with my prostate problems and bladder problems, I usually get about 2 hours sleep. Which I really wonder if that's long enough for, because of, what do they call that? REM. I wonder, I've heard that if you don't get REM sleep, you will die. You have to have this, don't know whether that's true or not. But I think it takes a while to kick into the REM sleep. So, but anyway, I get like 2 hours sleep. And what happens quite often is I'll forget and leave this, and rather than to set it in the refrigerator, I have a little refrigerator over there. One of those little office ones. Instead of sitting, I'll forget and just leave it sitting there, and I'll come out and I'll think, well, I'm going to pour this out, and then I'll feel it, and then it'll be cold. So it's pretty amazing. If I can find the links for these, I'll put them below. Let's see. I was going to say you'd probably hear the aircraft going over. We're near, as I mentioned before, an air base, reserve air base. So the Marines use it for their fighters. The Navy uses it for their fighters, the reserve units. and the Air Force uses it. And then I'm sure there's some, I see large, aircraft landing there that I guess are military aircraft. I mean, it's surprising that, well, I guess it's not surprising. They have to have aircraft to haul a lot of, I mean, some of it are like, look like luxury airliners, except they, they don't say TWA or Delta or that on them. It's really amazing. President Trump was asked, I think yesterday, by reporters, would he say that there is going to be a peaceful transfer of power if he, is elected or if he loses the election or whatever? And the President Trump said no, that he wouldn't guarantee there was going to be a peaceful transfer of power. We've never, I don't think we've ever had that. Not in modern history we've never, I don't think we've ever had it. That, it's always been. When we revolted against England, when we established a democracy, the entire world thought, it's not going to work, and they thought that George Washington would be, become the king. And thank God that we had a man like, well, all our founding fathers were really great, but thank God we had somebody, and especially as a first president, somebody like George Washington. But the other powers in the world thought, well, okay, they elected a president, but wait until it's election time. And they were surprised. We've had peaceful transfers of, but Trump isn't saying, yes, there will be a, peaceful, transfer of, just amazing. Anyway, I've got two monitors. This monitor, so I'm running with a PC computer that has 16 gigabytes of memory. And so it has a nice video card. I would never purchase a video card that costs that much money, but my grandson is into, computers and everything, grown grandson. And so he upgraded, I think he has two really fancy video cards at least. And so I had him come over and put it in. This was a while back. So the video card has a, now I forgot, that was on my mind. Well, it has HDMI. Oh, data port, that's it. Data port? Anyway, it has, and that's hooked to this. And then this one I have in it for free HDMI, and so that's HDMI. Everything seems to be working okay. I do like this setup, but I don't like the fact that I just need a bigger desk. And if you remember, I had a big desk. But everything seems to be working, working okay. YouTube. I was waiting for something to happen, but I was already, the video from yesterday made with my cell phone and the images, for this video here, Aha. My daughter barbecuing. That's made with my cell phone. I gotta make sure she does it correct. And then I use this for my images. I could have used a cell phone, but I used this. I've got 3 nice Panasonic cameras that there's no reason now really to have them. So I guess this is from view of the 5th column. It's let's talk about what Trump wouldn't say. I'm guessing that this is going to be that Trump would not say that there was going to be a peaceful transfer of power. Let's see. He made this video 1 hour ago.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we're going to talk about what President Donald J. Trump didn't say yesterday. Because everybody was talking about what he did. And what he did say doesn't matter. Not really. He said something to the effect of we need to get rid of the ballots, talking about mail-in ballots or something. And everybody feigned surprise. It's not shocking. It's not surprising. He's a modern Republican. Yeah, he wants to suppress the vote. That's like their thing. The only thing they like suppressing more than the vote is suppressing poor people. What he didn't say, what he wouldn't commit to, that's what matters. Because he said that when he was asked another question. He was asked directly if he would commit to making sure there was a peaceful transferal of power.
Yep.
And he wouldn't. He wouldn't make that commitment. He wasn't asked if he would accept the election results. He wasn't asked if he would, avoid taking it to court. He wasn't asked if he would concede election night. He was asked if he would commit to a peaceful transferal of power, and he wouldn't. That's shocking. That's surprising. That's alarming. That's something everybody in the country should be paying attention to. That lack of a commitment is more important than any campaign promise. That needs to be weighing on everybody's mind. If he won't commit to a peaceful transferal of power, what makes you think he'll commit to it in 4 years? What he wouldn't say, what he wouldn't commit to, is incredibly important. It is more important than any single issue.
I'm surprised. I don't think anybody's paying any attention to the community thing here on YouTube.
stood up whenever they played the anthem. He stood up when they pledged allegiance to, for our flags wherever they did plant them. He stood up for the red, white, and Yahoo. But when Uncle Sam said Vietnam, he sat down. He's got bone spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle, and they kept him from going overseas.
This is the, I think the very same grill that my daughter used in that video yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. Yesterday, I think. Cable snaps on the USS Eisenhower. Grand jury declines to charge the 3 officers involved with that shooting. I when that first started, when the no knock thing, I raged against it, that it was just a bad idea, that there might be some very rare instances where, but where it should be used. But police departments have just been using it, smashing somebody's door down at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's the wrong house, stuff like that. It's just, these videos are just so great when deaf people have that implant that lets them hear for the first time. I've watched a bunch of those videos. Some are children, some are adults,
Hey, good job.
You're back on.
I know.
Hi, Cooper. Hi, Cooper.
Hi, Cooper. Listen. Hi, Cooper. Hi, baby.
I know I'm doing that. I'm sorry. What's that?
Do you hear something?
Yeah. It's okay. It's
Also, I've seen those videos. If you watch YouTube videos, maybe you have too, of people who are colorblind, and they get those glasses and put them on, and wow. These videos too are funny when somebody, like somebody's coming home from the service, or it could be college or something like that, and the parents or family or mother or somebody's there, and they're in a restaurant, and so the person's saying, okay, I'm going to take a picture of you, and then the person who's not expected shows up and is behind him, and they snap the picture. And I saw one where, the person shows the picture, and the woman's like, something's wrong with the picture, and then the person takes it again, something, and I guess maybe they were used to the old sometimes film didn't advance correctly, and they'd get a double exposure or something like that, but 55-mile-an-hour balloons? What the heck's this?
for Franco. He'll go to second.
He was throwing just like this. I don't know if that's a knuckleball or just looping in a fastball, but you know that Farmer can throw it harder than that.
I mean, but it's not even registering on the gun.
They're all out there rushing.
And that one in the air to deep left field, and Grace has given up a home run.
Well, he's found him around the infield, too. He's saying something to him. Foul ground. Carson
Oh, I see.
telling
The
you
guy
to
is
screen.
throwing.
He's got it.
He's throwing really slow. Ball.
Support the idea of just getting Carpenter out of there instead of facing a guy throwing 60.
Yeah.
Struck him out. The highlight of the night for the Cardinals. Jed Jerko coming in and firing gas. The strike.
I'm not really a sports fan, never have been. But baseball is one. I'm sure you know if you're in some other country, soccer or cricket or something like that. But baseball is a really terrific, game. There's just so much that can happen and does happen. Marine home on leave surprises brother. It's only 53 seconds. Let's see this.
A special visitor here today. This individual is a former Wabash student. He's traveled to great lengths today to come and surprise one of our kindergartners. This individual is a member of our nation's military and for over a year has been deployed away from home and has not seen much of his family. Please join me in welcoming a former Wabash student, former first class U.S. Marine, Mr. Dustin Manera.
That kind of stuff is really great to see. These schools you'll see, especially well, not just grade schools, but high schools or whatever. You'll see teachers, a father or a mother will show up. Could be a brother, or a sister who's been in the military, gone for a year or something, will show up, and then the kid reacts or whatever. But then when you see the camera in the background, you'll see the teachers teared up or whatever. I saw a video the other day. It was high school, I think, and I can't remember if it was a father or mother or whatever, service person, but came in. But anyway, you could see the girls' fellow students, especially. Well, I don't think you see very often the guys, tearing up, but it's really great to see the sympathy and the empathy of, you'll see the kids in the background, teared up emotionally because of seeing that or whatever. Some of those kids that are teared up in the background or whatever, they may have family members that are serving outside the United States or something. John Mulaney is pretty funny. His videos, comedy, routines. Toro, Toro, Toro. That was a great movie.
どの司令長官は腰抜けやっちゅう話やがな。そんなこと言うやつもいるが、俺たち航空屋にとってはもってこいの長官だぞ。これから飛行機の時代だということをちゃんと心得ておられる。
それに海軍次官からいきなり連合艦隊司令長官というのはただもんじゃない。
しかしそれは山本次官を東京に置いておくのが危なくなったからという噂もある。山本次官は陸軍のやり方に大胆に立てついてきた。いつ命を狙われるかわからん。
なるほど。それで軍艦に逃げてくる。連合艦隊機下4万の護衛付きっちゅうわけや。
Great movie if you haven't seen it. I've seen some comments on, I guess maybe on some people, you know, that didn't care for it. They felt like the, you know, the Japanese, that it was too much, you know, that it was, wanted it more one-sided and more retribution and more, you know. That was really a, you know, Yamamoto, the guy we just saw, you know, saw in the movie, the guy coming on who's in charge of the, you know, attacking Pearl Harbor or whatever. Through our interception later on of communications and ability to decode it or whatever, ended up shooting him down, which was a big loss for, you know, Japan. I mean, a psychological, you know, loss that. Texas best state park. I haven't been to any state parks in Texas at all. Well, I haven't been to that many well, in Missouri and in Florida. Chappelle does fantastic comedy. Fighter jet lands too hard. Ouch. "15 seconds. Baby boy watches daddy eat toast and wants it." Surprise visit from brother at sister's wedding rehearsal. West Wing, great television series. We should have required, it wouldn't do any good, but I'm kidding, joking, but we should have required President Trump to watch The West Wing, the entire series. Maybe have him write like a school thing on each episode or something or other before he'd be allowed to do an executive order or something. A little girl, 5, playing with 14 German Shepherds. I'd be afraid. It'd just take an instant for something to happen, especially a pack of dogs, Beautiful dogs. Back when I was married, we got a German Shepherd. Somebody had to, I forget how we got it. Somebody had to get rid of it or something. They couldn't keep it or whatever, and we got it. It was a German Shepherd. I loved that dog. At that time we had 2 kids. Later we had 4 altogether. At that time we had 2. That's when we owned the tropical fish shop too. And this dog was just, 2 little kids could lay on it and pull its ears and do all kinds of stuff, and it was just a great dog. I was having a shed constructed in the backyard, and there was some workmen out there putting the shed together, and then over in the other corner of the yard had a swing set for the kids, and our 2 little kids were out there swinging or whatever, and the German Shepherd Brandy was out there and over by the girls, and one of the workmen decided to walk over. I can't remember now. I think he was walking over. I'm not sure if he was walking over because of the dog. I was looking out the window, and or if he was. I'm not sure if he. No, I can't remember. It's been so long ago. Not sure if he was going because of the dog or if he was going to go because the kids were there. Maybe he was going to push him in the swing or something. I don't remember. But he headed towards the girls, and Brandy went for him, snarling and and I went out right away, and Brandy didn't bite him or do anything, but that was scary. And then after that, Brandy was fine. And then the mailman came to the door one day and had a package or something, and he reached in to hand it to my wife, and Brandy went for the arm, or didn't bite him, but and so we had to get rid of him, gave him to somebody. I forget who we gave him to. That was a great dog. I should have got rid of the kids and the wife. That'd have been a better thing. From 1972, for a few years, I worked at a hospital. That's the first hospital I worked at. And when I started on the day shift, I worked 3 days inside the hospital, and then 2 days I worked in the parking lot. We had a security officer who worked 5 days in the parking lot because Frank Cipolla, that was a character. They really didn't want him inside. So his job was 5 days a week in the parking lot. And he did a fantastic job. But, you know, it'd be raining and muddy or whatever, or snowy and icy or whatever, and Frank would be out there. And everybody who showed up that was a salesman or whatever, you know, Frank would know them, and Frank would go over, what have you got for the hospital today? And so you'd go out there and he'd have pencils. No, he would, you know, he would just like collect, you know, okay. And you'd go out there and he'd have all this stuff. But if a dog came around, he would be feeding the dog. Anyway, this German Shepherd came around. Black neighborhood, by the way. High crime area, by the way. We had 10 security officers who worked there. We had, during the time I was there, 2 of them shot. First officer who was shot was just a miracle he survived, but he did. And then the second security officer was shot and killed, but he managed to shoot the other guy and put the other guy down. But anyway, went out there, and Frank, this German Shepherd, had come along, who, I don't know, maybe he had a black owner, I don't know. He didn't like black people. And like I said, it was a black neighborhood. I know it was a black neighborhood because I grew up in it. This was be St. Joe Hospital and be 31st and Prospect to Linwood and Prospect. So let's say 31st to 32nd Street or something. And I lived at 35th Street, 35th and Garfield, 2 or 3 blocks over. So just, you know, I grew up, and when I moved in with my parents there, when my parents moved in there and I went with them, it was a white neighborhood, but it changed, and we didn't leave until the neighborhood was like 90% black or something. So I knew the neighborhood. But anyway, this Frank, I went out, Frank feeding this German Shepherd, you know, and the dog, of course, was wanting to jump on me and lick me and all that kind of stuff. Here I'm trying to, you know, I have to go back. I was just coming out to relieve Frank for break or lunch, trying to keep my uniform, you know, from being slobbered on by a dog. Anyway, you know, the nuns looked out the window and would see Frank. You know, we had a chaplain, it was a Catholic hospital, so we had a Catholic priest who lived there, and the nuns made breakfast, lunch, and dinner for him. And what he didn't eat or what was left over, they sent out for Joe Wabash. The street was Wabash. And they sent the food out for the dog. So he had, and then one of the doctors bought a dog house for him. So the only problem was the hospital administrator was black. So the 2 days that I worked out there, and of course the 5 days that Frank worked out there, when the hospital administrator, of course 2 of those days would be like Saturday and Sunday, and the hospital administrator didn't come in on a Saturday and a Sunday. But anyway, when the hospital administrator pulled in his Lincoln Continental Mark IV, we had to make sure we ran out there and got hold of Joe Wabash so that he didn't eat the hospital administrator. That would have been kind of bad. And so anyway, we all loved that dog. The dog was when we had the first security officer shot on the second shift, I went over and took his place on the second shift. And so I'd be out in the parking lot, and somebody was in that parking lot till 11 o'clock at night, a security officer. And so I'd be out in the parking lot. You didn't stay in the guard shack with the light on, at least. Not a good idea. The nuns had tried in the past, before they went with hospital security, they had tried contract security. That didn't work. And then they contacted the police department to get pay off-duty police officers to work there. And the police officer said, no, you can't just have one of us for whatever post you want. You have to have two. So there would have had to have been two security officers in the parking lot. There had to have been, if they wanted to have been two in the inside, you know, instead of one. And of course the charge per hour for an off-duty Kansas City, Missouri police officer was, even back then, it was a lot of money. So they went with hospital security. But, okay, how did I get sidetracked on? I had something in mind, and now I forgot what it was. I was talking about Joe Wabash. Okay, anyway, oh, that's it. So when I worked the second shift, be out in that parking lot at night, and wouldn't be anybody around. You know, the hospital closed at, can't remember, 8 or 9 o'clock. We had to go to every room. Security went to every room and had to make sure, and they didn't let very many people stay, you know, visitors or whatever. It's pretty rare. So every night you'd have to go to each one of the rooms, and each shift it would be 2-3 people. There might have been a night when you didn't, but usually you'd go, sir, visiting hours are, ending now, and you're going to have to leave. And there'd be 1, 2, or 3 people when you made your, I'm not leaving. You don't have to make, you can't, whatever. And I'd just say, well, I'm going to give you a little bit. I have to go to the rest of the rooms, and I'll be back, And then usually what would happen is, most of the time, by the time you got, the person that already showed, they're not making me, whatever. Or the patient would say, oh, that's all right, Dad, or Joe, or Bill, or, go ahead and go. I'll be fine. I'm going to take sleep, Usually you come back and they'd be gone. But sometimes you come back and then you'd have to, sir, you've got to go. It's either leave or you're going to be arrested for trespassing, and then they'd usually, leave. But anyway, I'd be out in the parking lot, and quiet, nothing going on. Like I said, you wouldn't stay in the guard shack, at least not with the light on. But Joe Wabash would be there, and then, he'd look, or whatever, and then you'd see somebody coming up the street or something. But the hospital administrator, the black hospital administrator, who the dog didn't like, smart dog, actually. I ended up not liking him too. In the very beginning, I thought, hey, he's a credit to his race. And then I found out he was a prick. And he found out that he was messing with the wrong rank and file nobody, I told that story, so I won't tell it again. But anyway, that was, but anyway, the hospital administrator, and I don't blame, I can't blame him, it's his hospital, and he pulls in, and Joe Wabash wants to eat him, so he said we had to get rid of the dog. And I could see, too, he never mentioned it or even probably thought of it, but there was liability, although the dog never went for anybody. He never went for any other, anybody else, even, like the neighborhood was like 95% black. He never went for anybody else, just went for that hospital administrator. Smart dog. Anyway, the hospital administrator said we had to get rid of him. So, one of the doctors had a ranch up in Montana or someplace like that. And they created Joe Wabash up, and he went to a ranch in Montana. So he was a lucky dog. I wouldn't mind going into a ranch in Montana. But not if I had to work. I wouldn't be, I would not been a, I wouldn't have made a good farmer, I don't think, or a rancher. Anyway, I think I've killed enough time. Whoops, did I say that? I guess I need to edit that out. Thank you very much for watching.